The 2026 Hyundai Palisade Hybrid is the Korean brand's idea of a three-row SUV that can do everything at once. Sip fuel like a compact, haul 7 or 8 people, and make you feel slightly smug every time that you pass by a luxury SUV. So can this be the ultimate road trip king and also the accountant's favorite hybrid? Let's go for a drive and find out. The old Palisade was already chunky, but this thing has gone full Lego. Big upright grille, squared off nose, and headlights that look like they were designed by a very serious robot. Higher end trims like this one get intricate LED headlights, big shiny wheels, and just enough chrome and shiny silver bits that will convince your neighbor you've had a promotion. Additionally, that hybrid badge in the back is very subtle, so it's hard to tell the difference between this hybrid and the gasoline-only versions of the Palisade. Proportions are spot on for a three-row. Long roof, big glass, proper tailgate. It looks like an SUV first and a hybrid second. Under the hood, things get interesting. The hybrid pairs a turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with an electric motor for a combined 329 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque from just 1,800 RPMs. All-wheel drive is standard for us here in Canada. So this isn't some wheezy eco hybrid. On paper, it has pretty much the same power as something like the MDX Type-S, which I recently reviewed. Of course, it does the usual hybrid stuff like electric assist off the line, seamless blending of power, and the sort of mid-range shove that makes overtaking a semi-trailer very easy on a highway. Torque from the electric motor fills in the gaps where the turbo might otherwise take a breath. The result is strong, confident acceleration, even with a few kids, a dog, and half of Costco in the back. The hybrid system uses a relatively compact battery, around 1.6 kilowatt hours, but it leverages it smartly. It assists the engine under load, harvests energy when you brake, and lets the Palisade creep through parking lots and traffic jams on electric power alone for short bursts. Officially, it's rated for 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. That's not quite as good as its little brother, the Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid, but it is better than the Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid Max, which is probably the closest competitor to this. In the real world, you're looking at around 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers, but that's still really good given the size, weight, and the temptation to use all that torque every time a gap opens up in traffic. The Palisade Hybrid recharges its battery while on the move, either through regenerative braking or the engine. Unfortunately, it doesn't have different levels of regen braking like the Tucson Hybrid, so every time that you pull one of the paddles, it actually upshifts or downshifts instead of changing the regen braking level. However, it does have different drive modes to match your mood, or obviously the road that you're on. A standout trick is Stay Mode, which monitors the hybrid battery while the vehicle is parked, so you can keep using the HVAC and the infotainment system for longer periods without idling the engine. This is perfect for waiting when you're picking up your kids from school. Predictably, around corners, the Palisade is not as much fun to drive as something like the Mazda CX-90 or Acura MDX. The steering is light but precise, so it gives you just the right amount of confidence to point this big SUV exactly where you want it into a turn. Body roll is there, but it's not overly dramatic like a first-year drama student. Hyundai's H-Track all-wheel drive system shuffles power around to keep things tidy when the roads get slick, and the chassis tuning leans firmly towards comfort rather than corner carving. That is exactly what you want when half the year is snow and the other half is potholes. The Palisade Hybrid's biggest trick, however, isn't the power, it's how quietly it uses it. When running on battery at slow speeds, it glides along in near silence, and even when the engine wakes up, it's more distant hum than angry growl. Wind noise is a whisper, tire roar is very minimal, and even at 110 kilometers an hour, this feels closer to a luxury SUV than it does a mainstream one, especially in this ultimate calligraphy trim with all of its extra plush materials. Inside, the Palisade Hybrid is all about space and calm. This is a genuine 3-row SUV with adult-friendly seating in the first 2 rows and usable space in the 3rd row for teenagers on shorter trips. Space is plentiful on the inside, especially in the front seats. For my above-average height of 6'4", I have no issues with legroom or headroom in the driver's seat. In the 2nd row seats, space is a little bit less, but still, sitting behind my tall driving position, I can't complain with legroom and obviously plenty of headroom. Additionally, both the front seats and the 2nd row captain's chairs have a recline function whenever you want to lounge around. As for the 3rd row, getting back there is super simple because on this calligraphy trim, it's just one button and the power operated 2nd row seats easily slide forwards. However, because they are power operated and if it's raining on you, you are going to get a little bit wet while you wait for this seat to move in its most forward position. But once you are back in this 3rd row, space is quite tight for somebody as tall as me. It's best left for somebody that is under 6 feet. Right now it looks okay for leg space, but that's because this seat is not in its most rearward position. If it was, my legs would be very, very squished. However, these 3rd row seats on this calligraphy trim are heated. They can also slide forwards and backwards and of course recline. With all 3 rows up, there's still enough trunk space for groceries or a couple of hockey bags. Fold the 3rd row and you open up some serious cargo room. Drop the 2nd row as well and it transforms into a rolling storage locker for flat pack furniture, camping gear, or a small business worth of boxes. Up front, the dash design is wide, horizontal, and very modern. There's a big central touchscreen for navigation, media, and vehicle settings, backed up by a fully digital instrument cluster. Thankfully, Hyundai still believes in physical buttons for key functions like climate control. The system is responsive, the graphics are crisp, and you get shortcut keys so that you don't have to dig through 5 different sub-menus just to turn on the heated steering wheel, for example. Additionally, on this calligraphy trim, it does come with a built-in dash cam, so it has a view out the front, obviously, and also one out the back. Plus, it'll overlay key vehicle parameters such as the speed, and it'll also show where this car is using the navigation system. So if you don't trust your partner, then you can keep tabs on them. Moving on, this top trim adds heated and ventilated front seats, heated 2nd row seats, a heated steering wheel, premium audio, wireless phone charging pad, a UV cleaner for your smartphone, an opening sunroof in the front and a larger fixed sunroof in the back, and tasty ambient lighting touches. On the safety side, Hyundai loads the Palisade Hybrid with Smart Sense Safety Suite. Expect adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, automatic emergency braking, and more. One of the clever touches is the blind view monitor, which shows you a live camera feed in the cluster every time you turn on the indicator stalk. There's also surround view cameras, which are a godsend whenever you're trying to squeeze a 5-meter long SUV into the world's tiniest parking spot. In Canada, the 2026 Palisade starts in the low to mid 50s before fees and taxes, with the higher trims costing in the low 60s. This hybrid powertrain starts at a smidge under $60,500 Canadian, with this top spec calligraphy trim asking $65,700 Canadian. So yes, this hybrid will cost you more up front, but it'll save you a significant amount of fuel, it has a quieter drive, and it can be equipped the same way as the gasoline-only Palisades. It's not the most exciting 3-row when you toss it into a corner, but this SUV was designed to make your life easier and fuel stops less frequent. So as an overall package for larger families, this one is hard to beat. If you'd like to know more about this Hyundai Palisade Hybrid, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car, truck, or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one.